This female student hugged a handsome guy on her first day at a new school, surprising everyone and sparking their curiosity. Min Jae used to be invisible in class. She was an introvert, shy, and didn't have any friends. After transferring, she decided she didn't want to be like that anymore. During the summer break, Min Jae learned how to do makeup and socialize, as she wanted to start a new life. Min Jae arrived at school and saw others laughing and talking. She started to fear that she wouldn't be able to fit in with this crowd. She set a goal for today. Just find someone to eat lunch with. Find a lunch buddy. Fighting. When it was time for self-introductions, everyone focused their attention on her. Min Jae's mind immediately went blank. Everyone was looking at her. She remembered practicing being bright and cheerful. She had practiced countless times by herself, but now she couldn't say a single word. In the end, she only managed to say 6 words. I am you, Min Jae. She thought she would be ignored by the whole class, but unexpectedly, everyone applauded and welcomed her warmly. After her transformation, Min Jae caught the attention of more guys. After school, she wanted to try interacting with people, but her soft, quiet voice was quickly overlooked. It was too awkward. The group of friends was busy gossiping, and she couldn't join in. She wanted to join the group that was studying, but she didn't dare to approach them. During break time, she was still all alone. What was the point of transferring schools if she still couldn't talk to anyone? Min Jae awkwardly steps out of the classroom. She accidentally bumps into another girl. She thought she would be ignored, but unexpectedly, the classmate apologized and offered her a snack. In the past, whenever Min Jae shared something, her classmates would refuse. Now someone is sharing it with her. She quickly accepts and thanks the girl. This scene catches the eye of the school's heartthrob. For the first time, someone initiates a conversation with her. Min Jae can't hide her joy. It seems like something is different. Unexpectedly, 2 seconds later, the school's beauty queen proactively compliments Min Jae on being pretty. Remembering the tips she'd practiced, she immediately applied them, complimenting the other girl by saying she was the prettier one. What are these beautiful people saying to each other? Seeing her friends compliment her beauty, could she be pretty too? The school's beauty queen asks Min Jae to have lunch. She immediately gains 3 new friends. She can't believe it's real. Ji-won introduces Min Jae to everyone. Seeing all the handsome guys, her insecurity resurfaces. How could such outstanding guys talk to her? She doesn't know what this handsome guy is like, but he doesn't look like the type who would talk to her. The guys proactively introduced themselves, but Min Jae was so nervous, she couldn't utter a word. She was so scared. How could she even talk to them if she couldn't even look at them? Yi Jun, not wanting to participate, coolly walked up the stairs. Unexpectedly, his bracelet got caught on Min Jae's sweater, causing him to slip and fall backward. Min Jae instinctively reached out to catch him, and then apologized. Oh no, Min Jae accidentally hugged the school's heartthrob. As they awkwardly looked at each other, she suddenly remembered a video she had watched. If you encounter difficulties, just smile. No one dislikes a bright face. She followed the advice, hesitantly smiling and apologizing to Yi Jun. Yi Jun adjusted his tie, stared at her for about 10 seconds, and then coldly walked away. This is a disaster. Unexpectedly, another warm and handsome guy came over and apologized to her on Yi Jun's behalf. It turned out that the two were cousins, but had opposite personalities. The girls started gossiping. Hai Jun was good at his studies. Unlike other guys, he was very kind and knew how to take care of girls. A typical warm-hearted guy at school. During the open class, Yi Jun accidentally becomes Min Jae's desk partner, making her so nervous she can barely breathe. She wishes she were like Ji-won, hoping she could be as open as her and get along with everyone. She secretly glances at Yi Jun, unexpectedly seeing him applying lip balm. He seemed calm on the outside, but inside, it was a different story. But I feel like something is off here, or maybe it is just my taste that's different. Min Jae mustered up all her courage to start a conversation with Yi Jun. But unexpectedly, right at that moment, he put on his headphones. When Ji-won hears her friends gossiping about Min Jae and Yi Jun dating, her expression immediately changes. The teacher calls Min Jae to his office, saying she's very talented for becoming a trainee, and not to forget him when she's on TV. Min Jae is completely confused and doesn't understand what the teacher is talking about. The teacher mentions another transfer student. She thinks that if it's a transfer student, maybe it will be easier to make friends. When Min Jae looks at the classmates' information, she discovers that they have the same first and last names. It turns out the teacher mistook her for someone else. She remembers people often talking about someone who seems to live in a wealthy area and is beautiful. So everyone mistook her for the other Min Jae. Now she understands. Because of that mistake, that's why they were friendly to her. Min Jae searched for the other person's account. It's true, the two of them look a bit alike. You all thought she was her. She imagined the scene of her friends finding out and immediately changing their attitudes, hating her and being disgusted by her. The vast difference throws Min-jae into a deep pit of despair. She's afraid her friends will discover she's not that Min-jae in turn. She's afraid they'll ignore her once again. Hae-jun suddenly pulled the curtain. Turns out he suspected her identity all along. Last time, the teacher said the new transfer student this time was good and had a beautiful face. He wasn't talking about you, was he? You, Min-jae? This girl doesn't want to live anymore. In her mind, there's a thought of disappearing from this world forever. She wants to vanish from this world so badly. A few days ago, the shy and isolated Min-jae decided to transfer schools. Unexpectedly, another girl with the same name also transferred here. Everyone mistakenly thought she was a rich intern, so she quickly became popular in class. Hae-jun is the one who discovers Min-jae's secret. He came to find her, but he didn't intend to expose her, and even offered to help her keep it a secret. He promised he'd help her keep the secret from everyone. Min-jae nervously returned to class. Her classmates surrounded her, asking how she got so many fans. She knew they weren't talking about her, and she wanted to clear things up, but then she thought about how hard it was to make friends. She didn't want to be an outcast again, so she quickly said she hadn't been using social media lately to avoid the topic. She felt uneasy inside. Hae-jun suddenly appeared and handed Min-jae the address of the new transfer student, asking for her help. He even said he went through a lot of trouble to get it. Hae-jun was different. He's the ideal boyfriend type for girls. Seeing Hae-jun always helping her, Min-jae misunderstood, thinking he had feelings for her. Turns out, it was just because he felt sorry for her. Everyone thought she was the other Min-jae. Once the real Min-jae showed up, her lie would be exposed. She was desperate and just wanted to disappear from the world before the real Min-jae came to school. That way, she wouldn't have to go to school the next day. Yi-jun walked by and noticed she was acting weird. He secretly followed her and saw her buying a strange bottle of candy. So he rushed over to stop her. Two introverts sitting next to each other made for an awkward atmosphere. Min-jae asked Yi-jun what he was doing there. It turned out he was worried Min-jae might do something rash. What's with thinking someone might be in trouble and then going to buy candy at the convenience store? This whole scene is just ridiculous. Not wanting to admit it, he says he likes this kind of candy. Min-jae thought he liked strawberry-flavored candy. As soon as the words were out, the two awkwardly looked at each other. Yi-jun took out his lip balm again to apply to ease the awkwardness. Director, can you cut out these lip balm scenes? Oh my god. Min-jae asked Yi-jun if he'd ever thought about disappearing from the world. She figured the school's heartthrob would never think about something like that. But to her surprise, Yi-jun sadly admitted that he had. Min-jae sat there listening to music, feeling down. She realized that a lot of people in the world had the same thoughts as her. Reading comforting words from strangers online made her feel a little better. But what she didn't know was that one of those strangers was Yi-jun. The next day, the person we've all been waiting for finally arrived. Rumor had it she was smart and pretty. Min-jae thought she was about to be exposed. The new girl walked in and introduced herself as Yu Min-jae. The whole class was shocked and confused because the two had the same name. Min-jae A was surprised because Min-jae B's style and shyness were just like hers before. She was a little stunned. Could they have switched fates? Hae-jun, sitting in the back, had a weird smile on his face. This girl was a popular trainee, but on her first day at the new school, she dressed casually, not wanting to attract any attention. She just wanted to live a quiet life until graduation. But then, it turned out there was another girl in class with the same name as her, who was both pretty and gentle. The difference between the two had the other classmates whispering. But could there be someone with the same name as her? Min-jae B saw them laughing and talking in class, and suddenly thought about her old self. In front of the mirror at the back of the room, she felt a little down, but she quickly adjusted her thinking. Friends and popularity were meaningless anyway. The other students were whispering about how they had the same name, but looked so different. Hearing people talk behind her back, Min-jae B just ignored it. They were just faking it anyway. She knew that better than anyone, so she didn't pay any attention. She didn't care, but Min-jae felt guilty. She didn't understand why the other girl showed up looking like that. Why would she dress like that? It was because she was the one who was usually ignored that her friends mistook her for the famous trainee Min-jae. After making sure no one else was in the restroom, she quickly closed the door and asked Min-jae B why she was dressed like that. It wasn't the real her. Min-jae B coldly told her to just pretend she didn't know her and to keep doing that in the future. To not act like they knew each other, and then left. Hae-jun saw the two of them coming out of the restroom, and their expressions were a bit off. He knew the two swapped identities and had secretly given Min Jae the address of Min Jae B to help her with the lie. But Min Jae didn't have the guts to go find her. Hae-jun then started subtly provoking her. On the outside, Hae-jun might seem kind of like an angel, but on the inside, he was a devil. Stepping out of the classroom, Min Jae immediately bumps into Yi-jun. His friend beside him started throwing rose petals around, teasing them and asking if something was going on between the two. Before they can even answer, the teacher pops up, smacks the rose-tossing student, and orders them to clean up the mess they just made. The three of them bent down to pick up the flowers. Talk about cleaning up your mess. Back in class, Min Jae tried to apologize to Yi-jun, but he ignored her. But then, when he saw she was too scared to ask for the worksheet, he slid his over to her and then pretended to nap. Min Jae wanted to talk to the new student, but was instead pulled into an empty room and asked what she wanted. Finally, Min Jae told the truth. Now Min Jae B realized that everyone had mistaken them for each other. Min Jae B asked Min Jae if she was too scared to tell the truth, or if she just didn't want to. Like, was she purposely not saying anything? Min Jae felt a pang of guilt, because the reason she changed herself was to make friends. If she admitted the truth, she'd be isolated again. She didn't want to be isolated and hated by everyone. As Min Jae B was about to leave, Min Jae quickly stopped her and begged her to switch identities with her. Because of this misunderstanding, she finally had friends, so she didn't want to be exposed. Moreover, Min Jae also knew that Min Jae B intentionally dressed plainly because she hoped no one would pay attention to her. But she needed it. Their needs perfectly complemented each other. So was switching identities that hard? Even if Min Jae B called her out for having no self-respect, or called her crazy, the days she lived as Min Jae B were truly happy for her. She begged the other girl, no matter what, because for the past few days, she had finally been noticed by everyone. Min Jae B stared at her, warning her that once the truth came out, her friend's kindness and attention would turn to dust. Breaking off friendships would happen in an instant. After being rejected, she knew she was about to be exposed. Hae-jun purposely said Min Jae's name, and sure enough, Yi-jun suddenly looked up. He explained that he just happened to be looking. Hae-jun asked Yi-jun if he had a crush on Min Jae, and Yi-jun unconsciously remembered the hug on the first day of school. Min Jae was still agonizing over whether she should just confess the truth. Just then, Ji-won texted her, inviting her to go to the karaoke bar after school. This had been her dream for a long time. Min Jae decided to use Min Jae B's identity one last time. She'd tell the truth after it was over. Just this once wouldn't hurt? Hae-jun told Ji-jun that Min Jae would be going to the karaoke bar, knowing that Yi-jun would show up. Yi-jun acted all cool on the outside, but after school, he still went to the karaoke bar. Watching her classmates dance, Min Jae was full of admiration. As soon as Ji-won sat down, Yi-jun moved away to create some space, and then encouraged Min Jae to sing. It was her first time in the karaoke bar, and she didn't know what to sing. While she was feeling awkward, Hae-jun turned it around on Yi-jun, asking if it wasn't true that he didn't sing either. Then everyone started chanting for Yi-jun to sing, but he flatly refused, saying he didn't like to. Min Jae thought she was off the hook, but then she was pushed onto the stage. She grabbed the song list, frantically searching. If she made a fool of herself, she'd be exposed, since she was using the identity of a trainee. She just picked a song she usually listened to. With everyone cheering her on, she psyched herself up, thinking of it as her last time. Min Jae started to sing. The melody filled the room, and everyone fell silent. They were all stunned, mouths wide open. After a moment, they snapped out of it and started clapping, saying Min Jae was amazing, and that she gave them goosebumps. Even she couldn't believe she was being praised for her singing. Min Jae went out to use the restroom, and Yi-jun followed her. She was going to ignore him, but Yi-jun handed her a soda and complimented her singing. They awkwardly looked for something to talk about. Remembering how cute Min Jae was, Yi-jun couldn't help but compliment her singing again. She happily said she'd thought for a long time about what song to sing, because she didn't know any recent popular songs. And the karaoke bar, this was the first time she'd been so close with friends like this. After saying that, Min Jae immediately regretted it, because as a trainee, how could she not know anything about music? When she goes back to the room, she asks Yi-jun what song he would sing if he had to. Yi-jun whispers the name of the song in her ear. At this moment, Min Jae just wants time to stop, because when she confesses the truth, nobody will see her as a friend anymore. Unexpectedly, the very next second, Min Jae's account starts following her friends back. She remembers Min Jae B saying that if her account accepted the following requests, her photos would be made public. Everyone looks at Min Jae. Her heart is about to jump out of her chest. She's internally freaking out, wondering what on earth Min Jae-bi is up to. This girl was a famous trainee, but she purposely dressed plainly. Overhearing Ji-won bad-mouthing others, Min Jae-bi couldn't hold back. She purposely stepped on the other girl's foot and then pretended to be scared, apologizing for being so clumsy. Ji-won, trying to keep up appearances, couldn't get angry. Min Jae-bi turned away with a smug smile. She went up to the rooftop, took off her hair tie, and removed her glasses, instantly revealing her hidden beauty. Total goddess. Min Jae gazed at her. Even though she had mentally prepared herself, she still found the other person incredibly beautiful. Most importantly, her aura was top-notch. She immediately complimented the other person on her beauty, causing Min Jae-bi to be taken aback and fall backward in surprise from the compliment. Min Jae thanked her for her help the previous day. It turns out that Min Jae had always been pretending to be the intern, Min Jae. She had to ask Min Jae-bi for help, but she refused. However, last night, Min Jae-bi's account followed her friends and deleted all the content and photos, helping Min Jae avoid being exposed. Min Jae-bi said that she doesn't need friends or attention, but the other person is the opposite, so they should just swap identities like Min Jae suggested. But she also warned her not to be too naive, as it doesn't fit her intern image. She added that in the future, she shouldn't search online for tips on how to dress or act. Just ask her directly. Then she asked Min Jae if she was really happy right now. Min Jae cheerfully admitted that she was, saying that it was the first time she had a group of friends and even talked to a guy. Seeing her foolishly basking in the joy of friendship, Min Jae reminded her that now was the most dangerous time, because cutting off friendships can happen in the blink of an eye. Min Jae also reminded Min Jae that she doesn't look like an invisible person at all. Even with glasses and sitting still, she attracts others' attention. She's still very pretty, even with her glasses on, and very confident with an outstanding aura. It was unknown why even when she didn't say anything, there was still a certain feeling about her. Min Jae shyly said, "What are you talking about? You're very pretty too." She picked up her phone and deleted the posts on her account. From this moment on, the two officially switched identities. Min Jae thought she would teach Min Jae how to enjoy being popular among friends, like a social phenomenon. Min Jae, on the other hand, asked her to tutor her in math. She was speechless. She couldn't understand how Min Jae could have such bad grades without ever goofing off. Min Jae shyly says, should she tell her she has a low IQ? Meanwhile, a hidden eavesdropper is listening in, totally unnoticed by the two. Back home, while reading Min Jae's messages, Min Jae thought she was such a chatterbox. She couldn't figure out why she agreed to switch identities. However, the other girl's adorable tone made her chuckle. Ji-won posts pictures with her friends online, but only the ones where she looks good. Min Jae immediately sees through her, knowing this friendship is all surface level, and she pities her friend with the same name. She can tell right away that she only posts pictures where she looks pretty. When she gets a "thank you" text from the timid Min Jae, she smiles. Meanwhile, the other Min Jae is freaking out, wondering if she said something wrong or was too forward until she finally gets a reply can relax. In class, Ji-won was constantly taking selfies. After realizing Min Jae was in the frame, she felt it ruined her beautiful picture. So she told Min Jae to move her desk. She even gave Min Jae a nickname, using an adjective that describes her as fair-skinned and cute, like the character. No Min. Min Jae was speechless. What a piece of trash. Just the day before, she overheard her saying that No Min was an invisible character with no presence. Ji-won said she wanted to move her desk and didn't even care that her classmate was drawing, yanking the desk away anyway. She ruined the other person's drawing and didn't even bother to apologize. Min Jae watched Ji-won, suppressing her anger and trying to become invisible. Her friends complimented Ji-won's beauty. Ji-won outwardly said Min Jae was also very pretty, but Min Jae knew that she didn't think that in her heart. Listening to them talk, she realized that people were starting to suspect Min Jae's identity. She began to think about how to help Min Jae. Her friends wonder why Min Jae deleted all her photos. Why would she do that? Come to think of it, she's secretive. Ji-won ended it all by playing the victim, leaving Min Jae speechless. Hearing Ji-won's tone, full of green tea and White Lotus vibes, Min Jae knew immediately that she was a top-tier green tea girl. Hae-jun complimented Min Jae, saying she sang well and was very cute. Yi-jun cautiously asked why she brought up Min Jae, but Hae-jun turned the question back on Yi-jun, asking why he seemed so cold if he cared. Hae-jun intentionally said, "Didn't you say you weren't interested in Min Jae? Why are you paying so much attention then?" The next day in class, Yi-jun gets startled by the teacher, and Min Jae, seeing Yi-jun speak up, also gets flustered. The two are shy and don't say anything to each other. Min Jae asks him if he's not sleeping at his desk today, and Yi-jun says he never sleeps. Min Jae thinks he's lying at first, but then Yi-jun points to his ears, and she finally realizes he wears a hat to listen to music. The air between them is a bit awkward. Yi-jun takes off one of his earbuds, hesitates for a long moment, then puts it on his phone and hands it to Min Jae. She takes it and puts it in her ear. At that moment, the two are enjoying their own private time together. This girl is confessing her feelings to Yi-jun, but because she's rejected, she angrily snatches his phone and throws it. Who would have guessed it would hit the two people who were eavesdropping? Min Jae picks up the phone, not knowing what to do. Seeing Yi-jun walking over, Min Jae shoves Min Jae out of the way, taking the hit for her. Min Jae and Yi-jun stare at each other for a long moment. She says she just got there and didn't see anything. He asks her what she saw, and she quickly denies seeing anything at all. Yi-jun notices his phone in her hand, realizes she's lying, and explains that it's not what she thinks before turning and walking away. The next morning, Min Jae is happily skipping along, when suddenly she spots Yi-jun. She quickly looks for a place to hide, but unexpectedly, Yi-jun also runs away. The two, shy about avoiding each other, both wait for the other to go first. They see each other, but now pretend not to. Unexpectedly, after waiting for ages, they still bump into each other. Min Jae awkwardly waves hello, explaining that she's not usually this messy, but Yi-jun coldly walks away. She felt a bit disappointed. She thought they had gotten a little closer. Yi-jun suddenly runs back and asks if she spread any rumors about last night. Min Jae quickly says she didn't. Then she looks around at Yi-jun, wondering if he didn't hear her because of his headphones, and asks if he heard what she said. Turns out, Yi-jun can still hear with his headphones on. So, on the first day of school, he was intentionally ignoring her. Yi-jun quickly explains that he just didn't know how to respond because she didn't seem very friendly at that time, and he was really afraid of strangers. Min Jae is surprised. Yi-jun says she's been like that since the beginning, hasn't she? Min Jae is also speechless. Truly. Turns out, these two shy people both thought the other was cold and arrogant. Min Jae asks why Yi-jun didn't sing when they went to karaoke last time, and Yi-jun explains he's not a good singer. The two, who have similar personalities, finally grow closer. During gym class, Min Jae's friends make fun of her for wearing fake brand shoes, but she has no idea which brands are which. What should she do? So many eyes are on her. When she doesn't know what to say, Yi-jun shows up and says he and she are wearing the same shoes. Their friend runs over, teasing them about wearing a couple of shoes. Yi-jun accidentally watches a video he wants to share with Min Jae, but he hesitates a lot. Finally, he decides to flip a coin, but the coin doesn't land on what he wants twice. He keeps flipping until it lands on what he wants. Then he sends the message, but Yi-jun doesn't know that the person receiving the message is Min Jae. When Min Jae receives Yi-jun's message, she's also surprised. Ji-won notices that Yi-jun, who usually acts cold, actively and publicly tags Min Jae. She's furious and immediately comes up with a plan. But then someone anonymously posts that Min Jae doesn't look like a trainee and is even wearing fake brand shoes. There's a lot of chatter about it. Min Jae apologizes to Min Jae, feeling that the fake shoe incident is affecting her reputation. She thinks that she's been working hard on her studies, but that's not what people are paying attention to. Min Jae keeps praising Min Jae, worried that she might be hurt. She says that making a mistake the first time is okay. She tells Min Jae the names of some lesser-known brands, and, while showing her how to wear the shoes, they hear someone coming. Min Jae immediately hides, while Min Jae acts all timid and tries to leave. Hae-jun stops her, saying she should let him in on their secret. Turns out, Hae-jun has known their secret for a long time. Hae-jun shows her the anonymous post, and they realize that their identities have been suspected. It seems the anonymous person who sent the message is in their class. He explains that people with a natural aura are always targeted, and even a small mistake gets blown out of proportion. But he's here to help these two girls. To make Min Jae seem like a famous trainee, Min Jae is going to secretly train her. Min Jae worries that they'll be seen by classmates while walking outside. Seeing her worry, Min Jae pretends that a classmate is coming to work, making Min Jae panic. Seeing her so anxious, Min Jae laughs. She says that since she's dressed so fashionably today, even if their classmates see them, they won't recognize her. She pulls Min Jae along to try on lipstick, shop for trendy clothes, and teaches her stylish photo poses. Min Jae-bi picks out a shirt for Min Jae-a, who's shocked when she sees the price tag. She can't understand how such an outdated style could be so expensive. Plus, she was made fun of by her old classmates for dressing like this in middle school. Min Jae-bi explains that this style is popular right now. Seeing her still hesitating, she immediately says she'll wear it with her, so it'll be fine, right? Min Jae-bi takes her to a cafe. She takes tons of pictures with her phone, but none of them turn out well. Min Jae-bi takes a look and is speechless. She rearranges things and takes a photo. When Min Jae-a sees it, her eyes light up with admiration. She says this is the first time she's been to a cafe because she didn't have any friends to go with before. Hearing this, Min Jae-bi's heart sinks a little. She immediately takes photos of her, praising her beauty and telling her to use the photo as her profile picture. Seeing Min Jae-a happily chatting with Ji-won, Min Jae-bi feels a bit sad. Back home, the two happily chat on the phone again. She teases Min Jae-a about her weird taste in music, but laughs happily. Yi-jun notices Min Jae-a changed her profile picture and is about to text her. But then Hae-jun shows up. So he quickly hides his phone and pretends to stretch. Hae-jun knows what's up but still deliberately teases him, asking if Yi-jun is talking to a girl and if it's Min Jae-a. Caught red-handed, Yi-jun immediately becomes flustered. Hae-jun sees that the two Min Jaes have added her to a group chat, but she doesn't plan on telling Yi-jun about their identity swap. Ji-won was just chatting and laughing with the school's good-looking guys. And then she walked over to the group of girls. Min Jae-a admires how Ji-won can naturally talk to the guys like that. Ji-won then arrogantly says that Hae-jun and Yi-jun are very similar. They are gentle and often joke around with her. Her first impression was that they were very cold. Yi-jun is getting scolded by the teacher when he spots Min Jae-a. She's about to leave, but he runs after her. Yi-jun explains that he got criticized by the teacher for not dressing properly. She looks at Yi-jun and says that it's obvious he'd get points deducted. This part gets points off. This part too, and also his face. Yi-jun points to his face and asks if this part also gets points deducted. She immediately blushes bright red. Yi-jun chases after her, saying that he'll dress properly when he needs to. She says that Yi-jun didn't listen to the teacher. Their classmates see their close interaction and think they're dating. The next day, Yi-jun follows Min Jae-a's advice and wears a proper uniform to school. Just then, Min Jae-a sees him and is shocked, almost falling backward. Yi-jun listened to her. He wore his uniform properly to school, and the more she looked, the more handsome he seemed. Min Jae-a curiously asks Yi-jun what he needs. Yi-jun makes the excuse of borrowing a book. Yi-jun just wanted her to know that he listened to her and behaved. This is the first time he's ever actively done something like this. The two look at each other shyly. Yi-jun hands Min Jae-a a music CD, and, before she can even react, he runs off. Min Jae-a returns to her seat, but still can't contain her excitement. Only then does she notice the note that Yi-jun wrote. Yi-jun keeps sending her messages, asking about it. She decides to search online to understand its meaning, afraid of misunderstanding his intentions. The next morning, Min Jae-a gives Yi-jun a movie ticket. As a thank you, Yi-jun asks her why there's only one ticket. She again misunderstands Yi-jun's meaning, thinking it is indeed a bit strange to go alone. So she says she'll buy another ticket for Yi-jun. Yi-jun then asks Min Jae-a if she doesn't want to go with him, inviting her to watch the movie together. As soon as he asks, his ears turn bright red. Ji-won makes fun of Min Jae-a's shirt, calling it childish. Min Jae-a, remembering she wasn't too sure about the shirt when she picked it out, suddenly feels self-conscious. Unexpectedly, a classmate comes up and admires Min Jae-a, saying she looks like a character from a comic book. Only then does Ji-won realize how out of touch she is. Hae-jun approaches and compliments Min Jae-a, saying she looks beautiful in the shirt, like a goddess. He adds that her style is trendy right now, and that the shirt itself is very expensive. After hearing the price, everyone is shocked, and immediately starts praising the shirt non-stop. Ji-won just wants to hide her face in embarrassment. The classmate keeps asking Min Jae-a where she bought the shirt. Seeing Min Jae-a's happy face, Min Jae-bi also smiles. It turns out that Min Jae-bi had gone to find Hae-jun, asking him to memorize all of Min Jae-a's fashion styles. She told him to step in and defend Min Jae-a when needed, making Hae-jun memorize everything, because her own words don't carry much weight right now. Hae-jun, curious, asks why she's going to so much trouble to help Min Jae. Thinking back to the time she spent with Min Jae-a, she can't quite explain it. It's like she feels the need to protect her. And so, the two of them have been quietly protecting Min Jae-a. Hae-jun glanced at Min Jae-bi, showing she had brilliantly completed the task. Min Jae-bi looked at Ji-won, knowing she was extremely jealous and would be furious today. During P.E. class, Min Jae was invited to join a team. And only then did Ji-won realize she was an outcast. A classmate accidentally hit Min Jae on the head with a ball. She held her head, chanting to herself not to lose her temper. To maintain her invisible image, she reluctantly said she was fine. Min Jae felt a little sorry for her, but, afraid she might have an outburst, remained silent and just watched. Ji-won invites Min Jae to hang out, but she accidentally finds out that Min Jae and Jun are going to see a movie together. Ji-won then slyly mentions that she and Yi Jun go to the movies together all the time, and asks Min Jae if she likes Yi Jun. Min Jae gets embarrassed and denies it. That evening, Min Jae texts Min Jae a bunch, asking for advice on what to wear the next day. She notices that Min Jae is acting a bit strange. Later, Min Jae imagines a romantic scene between her and Yi Jun at the movie theater and gets all excited just thinking about it. But the next day, Min Jae gets a text from Ji-won, who puts on an Oscar-worthy performance. She asks Min Jae if she likes Yi Jun, and then pretends that Yi Jun has already confessed his feelings to her. Min Jae is stunned. Were all those moments they shared in the past just a lie? She starts to doubt everything, thinking maybe she just imagined it all. Ji-won then has the nerve to apologize to Min Jae, even crying and acting pitiful, making Min Jae feel sorry for her. Min Jae quickly says she doesn't like Yi Jun, and even comforts Ji-won, telling her not to be sad about it. Ji-won immediately says she won't accept Yi Jun's confession, intentionally making Min Jae misunderstand that Yi Jun is a player. And yet, Min Jae is foolish enough to believe this girl. Meanwhile, Yi Jun, who's usually always acting cold, is humming a song today. Even Hai Jun can tell he's in a really good mood. Yi Jun doesn't want to tell him that he has a movie date with Min Jae. Hai Jun complains that Yi Jun has been lying to him more often lately, and that he's hurt by it. Hai Jun appears suddenly behind Min Jae, asking what she's mumbling about. She ends up telling him a story about a friend, but Hai Jun immediately recognizes the person she's referring to as Yi Jun. He asks her directly if she likes Yi Jun. Min Jae instinctively shakes her head. Hai Jun says if she can't be sure about his feelings, being friends isn't a bad option either. On the other side, Min Jae is still lost in thought, wondering why she's going all out to help Min Jae. Suddenly, a male student bumps into her, and instead of apologizing, he starts yelling at her. Usually, Min Jae pretends to be invisible and weak. Seeing no one around, she drops the act and confronts the guy, using a big sister's vibes to teach him a lesson. But then, right at that moment, a classmate spots her. Min Jae panics and runs away. The classmate finds it weird and calls Yi Jun over to see, but she's already gone. The next day, Yi Jun deliberately styles his hair in a new way and dresses coolly. Arriving at the movie theater early, he smiles while looking at the ticket. Someone taps him on the shoulder from behind. He turns around with a smile, but suddenly, the smile fades. He doesn't understand why Ji-won is here, and she says she showed up earlier than the time they agreed on. Yi Jun asks her why. She replies that it's because this is the first time she and Yi Jun are going to the movies together. But that's not what Yi Jun meant. It turns out that not long ago, Min Jae sent the ticket to Ji-won because she thought Yi Jun would prefer to watch the movie with Ji-won. Later, she asks Min Jae to hang out and asks her if she's good at dating. Seeing the other person's goofy look, Min Jae smiles. She teases them by calling out Yi Jun's name, causing them to startle and look around. Caught red-handed, Min Jae wonders why Min Jae's intuition is as sharp as Hai Jun's. Min Jae asks Min Jae who she would choose between friends and a lover. Min Jae recalls a past incident, and her expression turns somber. Min Jae asks her back, what does she think is more important? Min Jae then tells her the whole story from beginning to end. After hearing it, Min Jae feels dizzy. How can someone be so silly? Min Jae even thinks it's cool. She's really speechless. Hearing that, Min Jae immediately calls Hai Jun and scolds him so thoroughly that he can't even react. Yi Jun was about to call Min Jae to ask what was going on when he heard a phone ringing nearby. He looked up and found Hai Jun and Min Jae arriving to watch a movie together. The atmosphere became unusually tense. Hai Jun and Min Jae went to see a movie together. What the heck is that jerk Hai Jun playing at? This girl lied to her, saying Yi Jun confessed to her. The naive Min Jae even wanted to play matchmaker for the two of them, so she let her go to the movies with Yi Jun instead. Min Jae couldn't hold back after hearing the story and asked if she now felt regretful, while also having to convince herself that she wasn't wrong. Min Jae nodded. Min Jae said that's why people like her, because she's sincere and honest, but she shouldn't always put herself at a disadvantage for her friends. She needs to think of herself more, and also consider Min Jae. Min Jae told her to go to the movie theater. If Yi-jun asks, just say the three of them are watching the movie together. What's the big deal? Finally, Min Jae nodded in agreement and ran to the movie theater. Min Jae smiles as she watches her leave, but immediately after, her face falls, and she looks sad. Min Jae is on her way to the movie theater when she runs into Hae-jun. He offers to help her but narcissistically tells her not to fall for him. At the entrance of the movie theater, the smell of jealousy is strong. Yi-jun gets annoyed seeing the two being so close. Hae-jun even intentionally orders the couple's combo. There's still some time left, so they play a shooting game to kill time. The two guys start to subtly compete. Hae-jun teaches Min Jae how to shoot. Yi-jun quickly steps closer to her to watch their every move. Ji-won also acts cute, saying, "It's too hard," and asking Yi-jun to teach her, but he can't take his eyes off Min Jae. When she fires the first shot, everyone is surprised. It's a 9. Min Jae keeps shooting and even hits the bullseye for a 10. Everyone is silent, holding their breath. Even the owner comes over to praise her, saying that this student is amazing, a professional shooter. Min Jae happily asks everyone if she did well. She happily high-fives Hae-jun, but a jealous Yi-jun demands a high-five too. So she ends up high-fiving all three of them. The movie starts. Yi-jun stares intently at Min Jae. Hae-jun glances over and intentionally gets closer to Min Jae. Seeing them leaning in, Yi-jun quickly leans forward to observe what they're doing. Min Jae asks Hae-jun if what they're doing is okay, since he isn't being sincere anyway. She thanks Hae-jun. Seeing Min Jae thanking him, Hae-jun's expression changes. Min Jae says that she didn't understand what kind of person he was before. Sometimes he seemed very friendly, but other times very cold, sometimes familiar, sometimes very distant. But now she's found the answer. It's because he often helps her, and she's happy to have a friend like him. After hearing this, Hae-jun doesn't feel comfortable at all, because he's always had an ulterior motive for approaching her. After the movie ends, Ji-won intentionally tells Hae-jun to take Min Jae home. Hae-jun, knowing her true intentions, says he and Ji-won are going the same way, and drags her along to share a ride. This time, he genuinely wants to help Min Jae. At the bus stop, Ji-won drops the act and directly asks Hae-jun why he did that. His answer immediately shuts her down. He says it's just that he thinks she's too scheming, even lying about Yi-jun confessing to her. Ji-won continues to play dumb, but is still exposed by Hae-jun. It's clear she doesn't like Yi-jun, so why is she intentionally trying to separate them? The real reason is that she's jealous of Min Jae. Ji-won retorts by asking Hae-jun why he's doing something so childish. Hae-jun says that he and she are similar, so he knows what she's trying to do. Unexpectedly, Ji-won also bluntly exposes Hae-jun's intentions. Hae-jun is obsessed with being jealous of Yi-jun. He doesn't like Shin Yi-jun. Hae-jun suggests they continue to be friends, since it would be mutually beneficial. But if she crosses the line, he won't let it slide. After the other two leave, Min Jae and Yi-jun feel a bit awkward. Min Jae asks how the movie was tonight, but Yi-jun's eyes are glued to Min Jae the whole time, so he has no idea what the plot is. He says he couldn't concentrate, but Min Jae doesn't get what he means, thinking he's angry. Yi-jun, on the other hand, thinks Min Jae didn't want to watch the movie with him, so she brought Hae-jun along. You two looked pretty uncomfortable, didn't you? Yi-jun immediately apologizes for putting her on the spot. Min Jae also apologizes for disturbing him and Ji-won during the movie. Min Jae musters up her courage and stops to ask Yi-jun why he invited her to the movies. Yi-jun stops too. He doesn't say anything, but in his head, he answers, "Because of you, I can smile and talk. Being with you is fun." Her heart is also in knots, not knowing what Yi-jun's feelings are. When it's time for them to part ways, Yi-jun hesitates for a long time, but finally answers her. He says he was really happy to have watched the movie with her. Min Jae is stunned for a moment, before replying that she feels the same way. Back home, Min Jae is still in a daze, until she sees Yi-jun post a status with a picture of the moon from earlier. She realizes then that his words were meant for her. She comments below, not knowing what her existence means to him, but perhaps she can't do anything other than like him. Yi-jun gets home and starts regretting why he couldn't express his feelings. In moments like these, he hates himself for not being able to say the words in the end. When he reads Min Jae's comment, he's stunned and doesn't know how to react. Meanwhile, Min Jae gazes at an old photo of them together, unable to delete it. She looks at it over and over but can't erase that memory. She's still living in the past. The heartthrob proactively tells Min Jae that he enjoyed watching the movie with her. That sentence alone is enough to make Min Jae smile all day. But when the teacher announces the test scores, she immediately feels like she's fallen into hell. The teacher suddenly shouts, "Let's give a round of applause for you, Min Jae. The class average is safe, no problem." The whole class applauds and congratulates Min Jae. But they don't know that the one with the high score is Min Jae. Min Jae doesn't have time to react and looks toward Min Jae, who is giving her a pleading look. Min Jae checks Min Jae's homework and finds that she got everything wrong. Her expression gets worse and worse. Hae-jun, who's nearby, suggests they switch their identities back and confess everything to everyone. Min Jae quickly refuses. Min Jae then says if she doesn't want the whole class to find out, why doesn't she study properly? Unexpectedly, Min Jae, feeling wronged, speaks up, saying that high achievers like them wouldn't understand how difficult studying is. Min Jae quickly comforts her, saying that it's just that her strengths are different from others, and asks her what she's good at. Min Jae says she's good at physical activities. Min Jae is surprised. Hae-jun chimes in, saying that's right, when Min Jae was shooting, she was cool and impressive. Min Jae immediately demonstrates some acrobatics for them, leaving them amazed. Min Jae says that studying is the same, you have to learn by doing. In the evening, Min Jae goes to Min Jae's house to study. It's just that she's reached her limit. During their break, she takes the opportunity to flirt with the other girl, saying that no matter what, there's a wall between the two of them. Min Jae's wall. Min Jae asks what wall. She replies that it's the wall of perfection. Min Jae laughs, asking what she's talking about. Min Jae gets up to stretch, and unexpectedly, sees a middle school photo of Min Jae. She compliments her, saying she's very pretty. Min Jae immediately gets angry and scolds Min Jae, asking why she looked without permission. Seeing Min Jae apologize and then get a nosebleed, she softens and quickly helps her deal with it. Min Jae suddenly exclaims, "Nosebleed," and then laughs. Min Jae doesn't understand why she's laughing. The silly Min Jae says she didn't know studying too much could cause a nosebleed. She thought it was just something in movies. Min Jae is speechless at this silly girl. Min Jae held up her phone and asked her to take a picture together. She couldn't stand that nagging voice, so she gave in and agreed. When she looked at the picture again, she couldn't help but say that Min Jae was so adorable. This was just too cute. Min Jae posted the picture, and for the first time, it got so many likes. Ji-won read the comments below and felt jealous. Everyone invited Ji-won to go eat, but she acted like she didn't want to. Min Jae asked if she needed them to buy her anything. Ji-won wondered to herself if Min Jae was just pretending to be nice. Looking at Min Jae's seat, Ji-won remembers that she didn't hate Min Jae from the beginning. After all, when she first transferred here, she looked much more ordinary than she imagined. Yet, such an ordinary person was more welcome than she was. This is what she couldn't accept. Ji-won goes to find Da-yi and asks if she likes Hae-jun. Ji-won even pretends that Min Jae told her that, making Da-yi think Min Jae betrayed her. Ji-won continues, saying she also revealed a secret to Min Jae, that Yi-jun had confessed to her. But when she and Yi-jun went on a date, Min Jae and Hae-jun showed up together, ruining their date. Not only that, but she also said Min Jae and Hae-jun looked very close. With her acting skills, Ji-won successfully pulls Da-yi to her side. This shy girl, who used to be invisible, after swapping identities with a trainee, successfully captured both of the school's heartthrobs. Male students surround Min Jae, asking her about her tumbling technique. She's about to demonstrate but suddenly remembers she's wearing a skirt, so she stops. Min Jae sees her friends and runs over to invite them to buy snacks. Unexpectedly, they say they just came from there and indirectly criticize Min Jae for preferring to hang out with guys. Min Jae feels a bit confused. At lunchtime, Min Jae plans to eat with everyone, but unexpectedly, they intentionally avoid her. She doesn't understand why she's suddenly being isolated, like she's not one of them. Suddenly, Hae-jun sits down next to her and asks why she's eating alone. Right after, Yi-jun also sits down across from Min Jae. Seeing this, everyone starts gossiping, admiring her for having two heartthrobs sitting with her, while also mocking her for being good at flirting, wondering what methods she used. At this moment, Min Jae finally understands what Min Jae had told her before, that friends can turn their backs on you in an instant. Min Jae wasn't in the mood to eat. Hae-jun blamed Yi-jun for suddenly showing up, hoping Yi-jun wouldn't appear anymore. After this, he had planned to settle everything. On the other side, Min Jae was nibbling on bread and sighing. Min Jae couldn't stand watching her, seeing she was still wondering what she did wrong. Min Jae interrupted and scolded her for being a fool. When people dislike you, they'll make up all kinds of reasons to hate you. If you smile, you're wrong. If you cry, you're wrong. So there's no need to blame yourself because it's not your fault. People are bad-mouthing Min Jae behind her back. Min Jae, finding it unbearable, intervenes. The others are about to get angry, but when they see her earnestly apologizing, they shut up. After they leave, Min Jae reverts to her true self, not realizing there's still one more person outside the door. During class, Min Jae intentionally keeps her distance from Yi-jun, hoping not to get scolded even more. Unexpectedly, Yi-jun slips his student ID card into a book and hands it to Min Jae. Upon opening it, she discovers his apology note. Min Jae can't help but burst out laughing, only to be scolded by the teacher. The two of them are in sync, sleeping in class. Yi-jun wakes up and gazes at the other's beautiful face. He stares at her absent-mindedly for a long time, trying to convince himself to stop looking, but unable to control himself. Seeing Min Jae slightly furrowed her brows, Yi-jun smiles sweetly and uses his hand to shield her from the sunlight. Min Jae jolts awake from a nightmare, looking at the photos on her desk, unsure of how to face the past. Meanwhile, Hae-jun puts on his green tea act, approaching Ji-won, who is with Da-yi, feigning heartbreak and asking why Ji-won hasn't replied to his messages. Ji-won has repeatedly isolated Min Jae, and Hae-jun can't take it anymore and decides to counterattack. Ji-won is stunned and confused, not understanding what's happening. Hae-jun continues to approach, even telling Da-yi to step aside for a moment. Da-yi awkwardly leaves. Ji-won is panicking. Just yesterday, she told Da-yi that Min Jae was intentionally getting close to Hae-jun. Now, Da-yi saw her and Hae-jun being intimate with her own eyes. Isn't that like slapping herself in the face? She angrily asks why Hae-jun did that. Knowing Da-yi is close to her, why is she deliberately trying to drive them apart? Hae-jun smirks and says he's just learning from her, saying she knows Da-yi's feelings well, so she's intentionally taking advantage of them. In Hae-jun's eyes, Ji-won's tricks are nothing special. They are amateurish. Ji-won reminds Hae-jun that they should be on the same side. After all, Yi-jun likes Min Jae, so what she's doing will help him achieve his goal faster. Hae-jun pretends to agree, and even asks if she wants to know a secret. They're someone very different now. In the past, they looked kind of pathetic, but now they don't show it at all. The next morning, a post is being rumored throughout the school. During PE class, Hae-jun wholeheartedly protects Min Jae, afraid she'll get hurt. Da-yi also grows to dislike Min Jae even more. Is there something going on between Min Jae and Hae-jun? Why did it turn out like this? What on earth did she do wrong? Min Jae remembers Min Jae's words that she didn't do anything wrong. She doesn't want to continue being weak like this anymore. When the ball flies towards her, Min Jae pushes Hae-jun forward, and he takes the hit for her. Everyone blames her for letting Hae-jun get hurt. Min Jae realizes that she can't keep enduring this. She passes the ball to Ji-won, but Ji-won passes it to Da-yi, wanting to help Da-yi vent her anger. Da-yi angrily throws the ball at Min Jae. Unexpectedly, she uses a somersault to dodge the ball, leaving everyone astonished. The teacher is surprised. Could Min Jae be a sports genius? That's so cool. Finally, Min Jae fights back. Min Jae feels happy for her. Well done. Back in class, everyone is buzzing about today's post. Ji-won feels something is off. Upon looking, she realizes it's an old photo of herself. The secret she painstakingly hid has been exposed. The secret she tried so hard to conceal. Ji-won, embarrassed, tries to run away, but bumps into Hae-jun. It was him, no one else. It turns out that the secret he mentioned that night wasn't about the identity swap between the two Min Jaes, but about Ji-won's past. She was also a victim of school bullying. Everyone hated her. When she went home feeling wronged, she accidentally saw Hae-jun being bullied. Now she knows that the radiant Hae-jun, in front of everyone, is no different from her. While waiting for the bus, Ji-won offered her only bread to Hae-jun, but Hae-jun thought she was more pitiful. Hearing Hae-jun say that only when you become better and better will people be friends with you, Ji-won started to change herself. When she appeared at the new school, she transformed and stood before Hae-jun. She felt happy that he still remembered her and successfully blended in with them. But everything shattered after Min Jae appeared. Why does everyone like her? Ji-won doesn't understand why everyone's attention is now on Min Jae. It's clear that she befriended them first, yet now it seems like she's back to being hated by everyone. She's unwilling to accept this. Since when did everyone become close to Min Jae? She was the one who was close to everyone first. The school's heartthrob pushed Haijun against the wall. Haijun mocked him, asking why Yijun was so angry. Haijun smiled at the classmates around him. But when he looked at Yijun, his eyes turned resentful. It turned out that 2 years ago, Yijun and Haijun were best friends. The two were always inseparable, always there to support and encourage each other. During break time, Yijun said he had a date later and wouldn't be back. Haijun immediately showed his displeasure. Yijun comforted him, saying that even if he went along, he wouldn't like being around strangers and wouldn't be comfortable. Haijun had to pretend like it was nothing, but when he sees Yijun with his arm around someone else, he feels a pang of sadness, a mix of anger, jealousy, and insecurity. He remembers that he had just made plans with friends to go to the technicians, but they were only concerned with whether Yijun was joining or not. It seems like from childhood to now, he's only been like Yijun's shadow. The real reason people approach Haijun is just to get close to Yijun. In the evening, Yijun still hasn't come home. Haijun sees that the computer screen is still on, and is curious to know what's inside. When he opens the video, he discovers that Yijun and someone else has registered for a trainee interview. Haijun has never seen him like this before. He copies the video. The next day, he posts the clip of the other person in the classroom. Everyone gathers around to laugh at him. Yijun angrily slams the laptop shut, telling everyone that's enough. At that time, the classmate in the clip found out. He was both angry and embarrassed and ran away. After the classmates learned that Yijun and Haijun fought, they suddenly did a 180. They thought they were friends, but it turned out they were just being polite because of Yijun. The next morning, the teacher called Haijun in and asked him why he was teasing his classmate. Normally, he was a student who was both kind and good at his studies, but Haijun himself didn't even know his true self. On the surface, he helped Min Jae, but behind her back, he posted about her wearing fake shoes. On the surface, he was friends with Ji-won, but behind her back, he secretly exposed her bare face. It's just that because everyone likes his kind and studious exterior, he puts on that facade. Because since he was young, he was different from Yijun. Yijun was quiet, but still got a lot of attention. Haijun had to work hard to study, become a good person, try to fit in with friends, probe their secrets, and then use social media to spread rumors to successfully become friends with Yijun again. Haijun was both happy and worried that others would steal Yijun away. When Haijun realized that Yijun only had eyes for Min Jae, and even tried every way to protect her, Haijun saw Min Jae as an enemy. He didn't want to lose Yijun like 2 years ago, just like back then, clearly liking Yijun, but also hating him at times. Haijun intentionally got close to Min Jae. Knowing about her identity swap, he initially just found it interesting, but gradually, through their interactions, he discovered that Min Jae really is kind, and she is also very attractive. As for Ji-won, she always takes advantage of her. Now, Haijun genuinely wants to help Min Jae, which is why he intentionally dragged Ji-won along with him, creating an opportunity for Min Jae and Yijun. He laughs at Min Jae for being so naive, clearly liking Yijun but choosing to be friends and giving him to someone else. Min Jae agrees with him. For the first time, Haijun has met someone who thinks the same way he does. They both feel that Min Jae is too pure, she's always sincere. Min Jae asked Haijun why he likes hanging out with them. Haijun said it was because he could be himself in front of them. A pretty strange personality? Haijun decided to fight back, so he publicly posted a picture of Ji-won without makeup. Min Jae asked Haijun why he did that. Haijun said it was because she was getting more and more out of line lately. Unexpectedly, Min Jae, who was standing outside the door, heard everything. She asked Haijun why he treated Ji-won like that. They were supposed to be friends. Haijun explained that Ji-won only got close to people for her benefit. But Min Jae said Haijun was too scary. Haijun shot back. Wasn't it because she was too naive? Kindness has its limits. You're being used, you idiot. Min Jae's eyes were red, and she asked Haijun if he would treat her like that in the future. She admitted that when she first transferred, she was constantly worried about being found out. But because Haijun said he would help, she considered him a true friend. Was he eventually going to treat her like that too? Was Haijun eventually going to take advantage of her too? Haijun was at a loss for words. Min Jae quickly followed after her, but in Haijun's heart, this time he genuinely wanted to help. That evening, Yijun wasn't answering his text. Min Jae was sadly walking down the street when she suddenly looked up and saw Yijun. Turns out, he had been waiting for her for a while. He explained that he wasn't in a good mood today. Then he blurted out what he'd been keeping inside, saying he missed her. Seeing she was speechless, he started to leave, but Min Jae grabbed his sleeve and asked if he wanted to go to a cafe. Inside, Yi Jun was crazy happy, but didn't know how to respond. The two of them, shyly together, taking things little by little. It seems like maybe that's what makes love so romantic. But Min Jae thinks it's probably too late, and the coffee shop is likely closed. She suggests they go to the karaoke bar instead. Yi Jun is stunned when he hears this. They arrive at the karaoke bar and sit side by side. The atmosphere is so thick, I can feel it through the screen. Min Jae takes the initiative and asks Yi Jun if he once said he hated singing. She had forgotten about that. Yi Jun says that actually, he likes singing. The first time he came to a karaoke bar and saw his friends singing, he wanted to join in, but he hesitated a lot inside. He thought he couldn't sing anymore because 2 years ago, Hai Jun had hurt him. Turns out Yi Jun was always quiet since he was little. Seeing Hai Jun laughing and chatting with friends, he was amazed and always thought it was so cool. Hai Jun had good grades and was great at socializing. It was because of Hai Jun that he started getting closer to people. Gradually, Yi Jun made more friends and even found someone with the same hobbies. The two of them even filmed videos of each other to prepare for an audition to become trainees. After playing baseball, Yi Jun asked Hai Jun what time he was going home. He wanted to tell Hai Jun about his plan to audition because, to him, Hai Jun's opinion mattered the most, but he couldn't find Hai Jun that evening. The next morning, Yi Jun and his friend were walking into class, laughing and talking. Unexpectedly, they saw Hai Jun playing the audition tape. He didn't understand why Hai Jun would do that. His friend, humiliated by the laughter, ran out of the classroom. At this moment, a somewhat terrifying thought popped into Yi Jun's mind. Thankfully, the clip wasn't of him, because he initially had that thought, to make Hai Jun hate him for 2 years. He was very scared and disappointed with himself, wanting to disappear from this world without anyone knowing. When Min Jae asked, he admitted he had also thought about that moment. After saying this, Yi Jun asked Min Jae if she was very disappointed in him, because she always acted like she wasn't curious about anything. He felt he had to tell her. Min Jae replied that a friend told her that a true friend wouldn't wait for her to speak up. Just then, someone walked into the room by mistake. The two decided to sing. While grabbing the mics, they accidentally touched each other's hands. Min Jae quickly grabbed the other mic. Even though she didn't know how to sing, she was still very relaxed. Yi Jun chuckled, seeing her adorable side. Exhausted, they finished singing, panting heavily. Singing felt like a fight. Yi Jun held out his hand, showing he wanted to sing. He wanted to try. When Yi Jun started singing, Min Jae felt herself falling for him. She even began to doubt herself, thinking, if she had transferred schools in her previous appearance, without switching identities with Min Jae, would they be as close as they are now? Yi Jun used the song's lyrics to confess his feelings, but Min Jae didn't get the hint. Yi Jun then said he wanted to dedicate this song to her. She said she wanted to tell Yi Jun something. She wanted to take this opportunity to confess her secret, but thinking that Yi Jun would hate her if she told him, Min Jae hesitated again. Instead, she said that they were becoming closer. Before she could finish, Yi Jun seriously confessed his feelings to her. He told her he liked her. Hearing that, Min Jae was stunned. Afraid she didn't understand, Yi Jun emphasized that he was seriously confessing his feelings to her. But Min Jae didn't know what to say because her current identity was all a lie. She hadn't confessed to him yet, so she felt she didn't have the right to face Yi Jun. She couldn't be truthful. Just then, her phone rang. Seeing she didn't respond, Yi Jun said he'd head back first. Min Jae called him back, hesitantly saying that her feelings were the same as his. But for now, she couldn't be in a relationship. She hoped he could give her some time. Her feelings were just like Yi Jun's. Yi Jun was both overjoyed and shy. Turns out, Min Jae liked him back. Ah, the sweetness of young love in school. Back home, Min Jae called Min Jae, excitedly saying that Yi Jun had just confessed to her. Min Jae was happy for her. Min Jae thanked her, saying that without Min Jae, she would have stayed the same, forever invisible in class. She thanked her for being friends with someone like her, and then she added, "It might sound cheesy, but maybe I transferred schools just to meet her." Min Jae playfully called her a dummy, saying she was the one who approached her first. Min Jae reassured her that even if people hadn't mistaken them at first, they would have liked her anyway after getting to know her. Remembering the times when they were together, Min Jae smiles happily. Who could hate such a lovely person? She also thanks Min Jae a lot. In the evening, Min Jae recalls the past. The love and friendships from before were all fake. The feeling of being betrayed by everyone is truly painful. But when she looks at the photos on her phone, she still can't bring herself to delete them. A male student has some snacks and asks Min Jae to give them to Ji-won. Having confessed his feelings just yesterday, Yi-jun feels embarrassed and can't look up at Min Jae. A classmate says Min Jae should bring her middle school photos here. Who would dare to, right? Just then, Yi-jun brings some snacks for Min Jae. They both feel a bit awkward. The friend next to them criticizes Yi-jun, saying, "Who put snacks in a black bag like that?" Seeing them, Hae-jun turns around and leaves, unsure how to face Yi-jun. Her classmate asks how she plans to make up with him. The male student then says that he feels Min Jae isn't as quiet as she seems. In reality, she's a girl with a secret. Hae-jun pretends not to know anything and asks him why he thinks that way. He says that a few times he saw Min Jae, he felt something was off about her, like she's a pro at playing dumb, and might even be the type to teach others a lesson, like she would put bullies in their place. He asks Hae-jun if she gets it, and if she understands that feeling. Hae-jun chokes on her water, pretending to drink to avoid the other person's suspicious gaze. It seems someone has discovered their secret. He quickly denies it, saying there's no way. Min Jae is just a quiet person. After her no-makeup photos were exposed, her friends started to avoid Ji-won. She ends up hanging out with a friend from another class. This new friend introduces her to a guy who only dates popular and pretty girls. If she can succeed with him, no one can look down on her anymore. She shows Ji-won his picture. He's handsome. She asks Ji-won if she doesn't want to get back at them. Two girls with the same name swap identities. But they don't think about what they'll do if they're found out. Ji-won asks Min Jae why she hid the fact that she had dated before. That day, Ji-won went to see Min Jae. Min Jae says she didn't intentionally avoid her like everyone else, because, on the first day of school, Ji-won was the first person to befriend her. Min Jae says that she will continue to treat Ji-won the same as before. They're still friends. Ji-won outwardly praises Min Jae for being kind, but is already thinking of a way to trap her. She pretends to consider Min Jae her best friend, and says a guy from Min Jae's old school confessed to her. She wants Min Jae to check him out, asking if she knows him or not, and to get her opinion on it. Min Jae hesitates a bit. After all, she hasn't gotten permission from Min Jae, so she can't bring up the past. Ji-won says the guy is older, so she's a little worried. She compliments him, saying he's as handsome as an actor. Ji-won is very surprised, because this is Min Jae's ex-boyfriend. She thinks Min Jae is pretending not to know him, but doesn't realize that Min Jae has swapped identities with Min Jae. Min Jae reacted. Maybe Min Jae knew this person. She says she might not know them, but she'll ask about them for Ji-won, and hopes they're a good person. Min Jae asked Min Jae if she knew Hyun-jin. Min Jae was stunned, and asked why she was bringing him up. As soon as she heard that she was asking for Ji-won, the trainee got angry. Why was Min Jae so stupid? Even after all this, she was still helping her. She hasn't changed at all. Even after being used, she was still friends with her. He asked if Min Jae wanted to become one of Ji-won's servants. Min Jae is stunned. Why would Min Jae say that? Min Jae angrily acts cold, saying that without her permission, it seems Min Jae has misunderstood something. They made a promise, so she needs to stick to it. She's only helping Min Jae, so she shouldn't casually respond to things about her. That sudden mockery leaves Min Jae speechless. She feels that the other person is strangely cold and scary. Min Jae coldly leaves, abandoning her alone. Stepping out the door, Min Jae's eyes are already filled with tears. She feels guilty for saying those things to Min Jae, but hearing Hyun-jin's name brings back old memories, and she can't control herself. She walks aimlessly and bumps into Hae-jun. Hae-jun sees she's not doing well and can't bear to leave her alone. Hae-jun's concern makes her feel warm. She admits she did wrong, lashing out at Min Jae for no reason, and that she should cherish a friend like her. Hae-jun felt the same way about Yi-jun, so he felt a bit ashamed. Min Jae was planning to find Min Jae to apologize, but was called back. Hae-jun asked her if she wanted to hide the secret forever. Min Jae was startled. When she got home, Min Jae remembered her old school as a trainee, and as Hyun-jin's girlfriend. Everything seemed perfect. Everything was great, but she didn't notice her best friend's jealousy when she shared everything with her. That day, she had a feeling that her boyfriend would ask her to come over to his place again that night. Sure enough, as they were about to say goodbye, he said his parents weren't home this week and asked if she could stay over. Min Jae hesitated because she thought it wasn't the right time yet, but his sweet words and pitiful look made it impossible for her to refuse. Min Jae sends an apology emoji to Min Jae, pulling her back to reality. She immediately calls, saying she should be the one to apologize. She's about to apologize when Min Jae apologizes first. The next morning, Min Jae arrives at class and overhears everyone talking about Min Jae, saying she transferred because her reputation was ruined and she couldn't handle it there anymore. Those words make Min Jae incredibly sad, as if she's back to 2 years ago. She knows she's the real subject of the story, and Min Jae is just taking the blame for her. Her whole body is cold, and she doesn't even notice when Min Jae greets her. She doesn't want to cry in front of Min Jae and rushes to the bathroom. As soon as Min Jae enters the classroom, Ji-won appears and says she went on a date with Hyun-jin yesterday. She then confronts Min Jae, asking why she didn't admit she was Hyun-jin's ex-girlfriend and had been with him. Min Jae is stunned to hear this. Min Jae hides in the bathroom, sobbing. Her mom is outside, patiently asking her what's wrong, but she's too scared to say anything. Seeing Hyun-jin's constant messages and calls, she feels disgusted and scared. The next morning, Min Jae and her mom go to the school to report what Hyun-jin did. Standing at the door, her mom asks if she's sure, because blowing this up will also subject her to gossip. Min Jae nods. She's bravely decided. As soon as they enter, Hyun-jin asks if she has to report him, because this will affect both of them. Everyone in the meeting room starts discussing the details. Min Jae feels both helpless and scared. Hyun-jin's mom keeps attacking her with insults, saying she was willing and that her son didn't force her, trying to prevent Min Jae from hindering Hyun-jin's sports career. The teacher said they needed a witness. Right then, Min Jae's best friend walked in, making her a bit surprised. Unexpectedly, she said that when the two were dating, Min Jae had asked her what kind of sex felt good. Finally, Hyun-jin smiled, and Min Jae's world officially collapsed. Afterward, her best friend apologized to Min Jae, saying she couldn't control herself. She had liked Hyun-jin for a long time, so she sided with him. It seemed that between a guy and her friend, she chose that piece of shit, and it was an unrequited love for a piece of shit too. It turned out that their closeness before was all fake. All the relationships around her were fake. The next morning, Min Jae goes to school, and everyone mocks her, asking how she still has the face to come to school. They even taunt her, saying she reported Hyun-jin to become famous, claiming it was all a trap set by her. She feels incredibly angry. Even after transferring schools, people still bring it up to hurt her. After Ji-won becomes Hyun-jin's girlfriend, she immediately goes to Min Jae and asks why she didn't admit Hyun-jin was her ex-boyfriend. Min Jae is shocked, so that's why Min Jae got so angry. She suddenly understands why Min Jae tries so hard to be invisible, since everyone thinks she's Min Jae anyway. During class, everyone looks at Min Jae with strange gazes, mocking how she still has the nerve to come to school. Min Jae finds the old news article. Hyun-jin's career went downhill because of Min Jae's report. She looks at the empty desk and worries even more about how Min Jae is doing. Hae-jun mentions the name Min Jae, and Yi-jun's answer makes him think the identity swap secret has been exposed. He's about to ask Yi-jun how he knows about the two Min Jaes, when, unexpectedly, Yi-jun says he knew Min Jae had a boyfriend because she's so beautiful. Hae-jun asks if Yi-jun isn't bothered by the rumors. Yi-jun says that knowing about them doesn't change anything, because he already likes her. Yi-jun asks Hae-jun why he's suddenly being so nice. Hae-jun keeps saying he's really upset. Yi-jun hates that phrase because Hae-jun never recognizes the good in others, only caring about his feelings. 2 years ago, when Hae-jun was punished for sharing a classmate's clip, it was Yi-jun who went to the teacher and said he was the one who gave him the clip, which is how Hae-jun got off the hook. He quietly took the blame, but kept it from Hae-jun. Hearing this, Hae-jun immediately feels ashamed. Finally, the two have resolved their issues. Hae-jun tells Yi-jun he's acting all cool, saying that because of a few demerits, something big almost happened. Hae-jun encourages Yi-jun to express his feelings to Min Jae, because they're both equally clueless. She's just as clueless as Yi-jun. After school, everyone is still mocking Min Jae for being shameless, and her former friends are also avoiding her. Min Jae just silently endures it all. The next second, Yi-jun suddenly appears at the door, and everyone else reacts with surprise. Noticing the unusual atmosphere in the classroom, Min Jae turned her head and sighed. Why did it have to be at this moment? She didn't want to run into him. The two sat next to each other in silence, neither saying a word. Finally, Min Jae spoke up. Yi-jun said he was waiting for her to admit it. Now, Min Jae realized how much Yi-jun valued her words. She shyly adjusted her skirt, but accidentally touched Yi-jun's hand. The atmosphere became even more awkward. Min Jae quickly pulled her hand back, but Yi Jun hesitantly reached out and touched her pinky finger. Yi Jun said he would wait for her, wait until she said it, no matter when. Min Jae is very touched by his words. She promises that soon, one day, she'll tell him everything. Yi Jun says they're talking as friends now, but next time it won't be like that anymore. Min Jae blushes after hearing this. The most invisible girl in school is finally no longer pretending to be invisible. As soon as she appears, she makes everyone's jaws drop in surprise because they don't recognize her. After trainee Min Jae and Min Jae swapped identities, Min Jae's past was exposed. Min Jae, who was once surrounded by friends and admiration, now has to silently endure ridicule and contempt. The people who used to isolate Ji-won have now turned to isolating Min Jae. Trainee Min Jae, not wanting to hear the gossip, decides not to go to school. She doesn't even dare to face Min Jae. After all, in Min Jae's eyes, she was a very cool person. But now that this has happened, she's choosing to run away. She doesn't even dare to tell Min Jae the truth, that she's just an ordinary girl like everyone else. It's not that she likes being alone, she also wants to have friends by her side. Min Jae is back to her previous life of isolation, being gossiped about. But now she's not afraid anymore, because she has real friends. Min Jae writes a letter to the trainee, saying she'll wait until she's ready to talk. Yi Jun suddenly gets close, wanting to see what she's writing. Min Jae quickly moves back, not letting him see. She waits for Min Jae outside her house, waiting for her to open up to her. Min Jae has been hiding in her room for days, starving. When she comes out, she finds a note from her mom. It turns out her mom knows she's not feeling well, and has been there to support and protect her. The snacks were brought by Min Jae, and there are many notes from Min Jae to her. Tears are streaming down her face. She has so many people who love her. Min Jae is still waiting downstairs. As she's about to leave, she hears Min Jae calling her name. Min Jae told her friend about Hyun Jin forcing himself on her. Min Jae cried when she heard Min Jae's story, blaming herself for not knowing and shamelessly asking to switch identities. Min Jae also apologized, because her situation caused Min Jae to be isolated once again. Finally, the two opened up to each other. Min Jae said that she's more important to her because, without her, she wouldn't be who she is today. Min Jae advises Min Jae not to pretend to be invisible anymore, to return to her beautiful self, and to go back to school. Ji-won got a message from Hyun Jin asking her to hang out this weekend. She hesitated a bit. At this moment, Hae-jun came to find her and proactively apologized for uploading her old picture. Ji-won gives a wry smile, saying that regardless of what Hae-jun thinks, she once truly considered him a friend. Hae-jun said he knew that. His answer surprised her a little. Hae-jun advised her to turn back, to stop doing shady things behind people's backs. Having to pretend all the time would be exhausting. After school, Ji-won goes on a date with Hyun Jin. She says she thinks she knows his ex-girlfriend. Hyun Jin immediately says that Min Jae falsely accused him of assault, causing him to lose his athlete status and ruining him miserably. Ji-won was about to show him Min Jae's picture and ask if it was her, but hesitated when she heard Hyun Jin say he wanted to see Min Jae again. When Min Jae saw Ji-won calling her, she got angry and didn't want to answer. She didn't want to be friends with that kind of person, but Ji-won kept calling. Min Jae advised her to pick up, so she answered the call. Unexpectedly, she heard Ji-won's cry for help. Ji-won was waiting anxiously, but Hyun Jin had arrived. She knew what was about to happen, and suggested they break up. Hyun Jin was furious. The two Min Jae showed up just in time and yelled at Hyun Jin to stop. Ji-won was surprised to see them appear. Min Jae mocked Hyun Jin, saying he hadn't changed at all. Min Jae took the opportunity to grab Ji-won's hand. Hyun Jin scoffed, saying that Min Jae ruined his own life over such a small matter, and that he did it because he liked her. Everyone does that. Min Jae grabbed Min Jae's hand, giving her a boost of courage. Min Jae immediately fired back, telling Hyun Jin he was full of shit. She made it clear she was the one who let him off the hook. She told him that, besides baseball, he had absolutely no future. Then, she played a recording of things he'd said earlier, and mocked that his thing wasn't that great either. Hyun Jin was shocked that she had recorded him, both surprised and furious. The three girls left, but not before warning him not to try anything funny. If he did, she wouldn't be the only one suffering. The next morning, Min Jae confidently goes to school, returning to her beautiful self. She's no longer pretending to be an ugly girl. She's decided to be herself again. She confidently walks to school. Upon seeing her, Min Jae compliments her, saying she's very beautiful. Min Jae shyly says Min Jae is also very pretty, but keeps complimenting her. Min Jae is wondering how to explain the identity swap to everyone, when Min Jae says the teachers never noticed any difference anyway. Min Jae tells Min Jae to give her 10 minutes. She runs towards Yi Jun, feeling both excited and nervous, thanking him for waiting for her. Finally, she musters up the courage to admit the truth. She's not the trainee Min Jae. Before telling others, she wanted to tell Yi Jun first. Yi Jun asks why. Min Jae says she's just like him. She can only be herself when she's with Yi Jun. The time spent with him is the most beautiful. Min Jae shyly confesses her feelings. Unexpectedly, Yi Jun says they should stop here. Min Jae's chest tightens. She thanks Yi Jun for taking care of her all this time and turns to leave. Unexpectedly, Yi Jun reaches out and grabs her backpack. It turns out Yi Jun meant ending their relationship as friends. Min Jae asks if he doesn't care about the identity swap. Yi Jun confesses his feelings once again, saying he likes her even more because of it. And so, they officially become a couple. The two girls walked into class, hand in hand. Everyone started whispering and making fun of Min Jae, saying she must be so desperate for friends that she had to find someone to walk to class with her. Min Jae didn't even get a chance to speak before Min Jae shut them down. She told them if they didn't have the guts to say it to her face, they shouldn't say anything at all. She wasn't the same invisible and weak person she used to be. The teacher started taking attendance and, sure enough, he didn't suspect a thing. He even encouraged Min Jae to keep up the good work and stay at the top of the class. After school, the three of them sat together, comparing answers. The two top students got everything right, while Min Jae got everything wrong. Hai Jun exclaimed, it was a good thing that she told the truth before the exam. Otherwise, the results wouldn't have fooled anyone. The two girls went up to the rooftop to delete the accounts they used to swap identities. There was still one more thing to delete. Finally, Min Jae deleted her ex-boyfriend's picture. Now she wouldn't be sad about him anymore, and she wouldn't have nightmares either. Min Jae leans on Yi Jun, showing him her music playlist. She says this account is very similar to her. Whether she's happy or sad, it always suggests love songs. Yi Jun can't help but smile. He leans into Min Jae's ear and says it's his account. She's very surprised. It turns out the person she's been talking to all along is Yi Jun. Yi Jun teased her, saying something like, he saw a comment about someone who was single, but still wanted to be kissed. He then repeated everything she commented, making Min Jae super embarrassed. Suddenly, their eyes met. Then it's time for our meal, but I'm not hungry. In the morning, everyone greets each other. Min Jae runs up and happily links arms with Min Jae. The guy calls Yi Jun from ahead. Yi Jun turns around, looks lovingly at Min Jae, and then smiles like a flower. Everyone says they can't get used to him smiling like that. Min Jae says she thinks he's very handsome, which almost makes the others throw up. Thinking back to the first day of school, Min Jae just hoped to find one good friend, but luckily, things turned out even better than she expected. She feels very happy. She thinks she's the happiest person in the world right now. The identity swap drama ends here. See you in the next one.